I am protecting your name.
I lost everything. Home, trust, even my name. I built my own empire.
I always believed I was the only heir to my family's empire. My father, Richard Hale, raised me to lead, and I gave everything to earn his approval. But everything shattered the day I returned home early from a business trip. I dropped my bag by the door and heard voices coming from the study. "We can't keep hiding this," my mother said. "He deserves to know." My father's voice came next, calm and firm. "Not yet. Ethan needs more time." Ethan. The name hit me like something sharp. I frowned and stepped closer to the door. "How long do you think we can pretend?" My mother whispered. I pushed the door open. "Pretend what?" Both of them froze. My father turned slowly, his expression unreadable. And then I saw him. A stranger sat in my chair, leaning back like he owned it. He looked at me and smiled. "You must be Daniel," he said. I stared at him. "Who are you?" My father stepped forward. "This is Ethan." Silence filled the room. I laughed once, short and sharp. "Okay, and?" My father didn't hesitate. "He's your replacement." The words didn't make sense. "My what?" "Your replacement," he repeated. I looked at my mother. "Mom?" She didn't meet my eyes. "It's complicated," she said quietly. "No," I said, my voice rising. "It's not. Who is he and why is he sitting in my chair?" Ethan stood up, calm like nothing was wrong. "I think we should talk," he said. "Don't!" I snapped. I stepped closer, my chest tight. "You don't get to talk like you belong here." My father's tone hardened. "Watch your attitude." "My attitude?" I laughed again. "You bring a stranger into my home, into my seat, and I'm the problem." "This is bigger than you understand," he said. "Then explain it." He paused, then said, "We've been preparing Ethan for years." My stomach dropped. "Years?" My mother finally looked at me, her eyes filled with guilt. "We weren't sure you were ready." I felt something crack inside me. "Not ready?" Ethan spoke softly. "It's not personal." I turned on him. "Everything about this is personal." My father crossed his arms. "You've been distracted, emotional." "I've been loyal," I shot back. "I've done everything you asked." "And it wasn't enough," he said. Silence hit harder than anything else. I looked around the room, at the walls I grew up in, at the people I trusted. "So what now?" I asked. My father didn't hesitate. "Now you learn from him." I shook my head. "No." My voice was quiet but steady. "I'm not learning from someone you chose over me." My mother whispered, "Please." I stepped back toward the altar. "You already made your choice." I looked at Ethan one last time. "Enjoy my life." Then I looked at my father. "Because I won't be here to watch you ruin it." No one stopped me. That hurt the most. I walked out, my chest heavy, my hands shaking. Everything I believed in was gone. My family, my future, my place. All of it erased in a single moment. And as I stepped into the cold night, one thought burned inside me. I wasn't just replaced, I was erased. And somehow that hurt more than anything I had ever known. I didn't leave the next morning. I stayed, even though every part of me wanted to walk away. I needed answers, and I wasn't going to get them by running. At breakfast, Sophie smiled at Ethan. "You should sit here," she said. "It's closer to Dad." I frowned. "That's my seat," she shrugged. "It's just a chair." Ethan glanced at me. "I can move." "No," my father said. "Stay." I let out a dry laugh. "Of course." We ate in silence for a moment, then my father spoke. "Ethan reviewed the quarterly reports last night." I looked up. "I was working on those." "He finished them," my father said. "Impressive work." I tightened my grip on my fork. "You didn't ask me." I didn't need to, he replied. Sophie smiled again. He's really good, Daniel. I stared at her. You've known him for how long? She hesitated. A while. Ethan spoke calmly. We trained together. I shook my head. Without me, my father cut in. You were busy. I was building your company, I snapped. And he was preparing to lead it, he said. The words hit hard. So I was just practice? No one answered. Later, I found Mr. Collins in his office. You knew? He sighed. Sit down. Don't tell me to sit, I said. Just answer me. Yes, he admitted. I knew. I laughed bitterly. Everyone knew except me. You needed pressure, he said. So you replaced me? We prepared options, he replied. He's better, isn't he? He paused. He's disciplined. I nodded slowly. And I'm not. You're emotional, he said. I stepped back. I trusted you. That night, I found my mother alone. Tell me the truth. She looked tired. You won't. Like it. Say it. She took a breath. We were afraid. Of what? That you couldn't handle it. I felt my chest tighten. Your own son? You care too much, she whispered. I laughed weakly. That's my flaw? Leadership needs control, she said. So you chose someone else. She nodded. I looked at her, my vision blurring. You replaced me because I felt things. She reached for me. Daniel. I stepped away. No. Silence filled the room. I shook my head. I thought I was fighting for my place. My voice dropped. But I'm not. She whispered. Then what are you fighting for? I looked at her, my chest heavy. Myself. And for the first time, I realized something that scared me. I wasn't losing my position. I was losing who I was. I walked out of her room, my mind racing. Nothing felt real anymore. Every memory I had now felt like a lie. Every lesson, every sacrifice, every moment I spent trying to become the man my father wanted felt meaningless. In the hallway, Sophie called out, Daniel, wait! I didn't stop. What? She stepped closer. You're overreacting. I turned slowly. Am I? She crossed her arms. Ethan isn't your enemy. I let out a quiet breath. No, he's not. She frowned. Then why are you like this? I met her eyes. Because none of you chose me. She went silent. I looked away. And that hurts more than losing anything else. I walked past her, my steps heavy. This wasn't about the company. It was about my identity and slipping away. Everything changed faster than I expected. Ethan will lead the Henderson deal, my father said during the meeting. I froze. What? The room went quiet. I've been working on that for 3 months, I said. You know that. My father didn't even look at me. Ethan reviewed your proposal. I turned to Ethan. Reviewed? He nodded calmly. I made a few adjustments. A few? I laughed. It's my deal. My father finally looked at me. It's the company's deal. And I'm part of this company, I shot back. Then act like it, he said coldly. I leaned forward. You didn't even tell me. You're being emotional again, he replied. That word again. I clenched my jaw. No, I'm being replaced. Enough, he said. Sit down. I'm not sitting down, Ethan spoke quietly. We can work on it together. I turned to him sharply. Stop acting like you're helping. I am helping, he said. You're taking everything I built, I snapped. I didn't ask for this, he replied. Then walk away, I challenged. He didn't answer. My father slammed his hand on the table. This behavior is exactly why you're not ready. Something inside me cracked. Not ready? I repeated. I gave my life to this. And it still wasn't enough, he said. Silence filled the room. I laughed. but it sounded broken. So what now? I just stand here and watch him take my place? Yes, my father said. And you learn. I shook my head slowly. No. My voice was quieter now, but sharper. I'm done learning from people who lied to me. My father's eyes hardened. Then you leave me no choice. Good, I said, because I'm tired of pretending this is normal. Ethan spoke again. Daniel, this doesn't have to... Stop saying my name, I cut him off. You don't get to act like we're... equals? I never said we were, he replied. That's the problem, I said. I stepped back from the table. All of you made your decision before I even knew there was a choice. My father stood up slowly. Here's your choice now. I met his gaze. Accept Ethan as the heir, he said, or leave. The words hung in the air. Sophie whispered, Dad, my mother said softly, don't do this. But he didn't take it back. I looked around the room at every face that once felt like home. You're serious, I said. Yes. I nodded once. Then I choose. My voice didn't shake this time. I'm leaving. My mother gasped. Daniel, wait! I turned away. No! I walked out before anyone could stop me. That night, I packed everything in silence. Every shirt, every file, every memory felt heavier than it should. There was a knock on my door. Go. Away, I said. It's me, Sophie replied. I opened the door halfway. What? Her eyes were red. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. Why? She asked. Because none of you chose me, I said. She shook her head. We're still your family. I gave a small, tired smile. That stopped meaning something a long time ago. She didn't answer. I closed the door gently. When I finished packing, I picked up my bag and walked downstairs. My father stood in the hallway. You're making a mistake. I stopped. Maybe? Walking away won't fix anything, he said. I looked at him. Neither will staying. He didn't reply. My mother stepped forward, her voice trembling. You'll come back. I held her gaze for a moment. Then I shook my head. I didn't say a word, because deep down, I knew the truth. I wouldn't come back. Not this time. Not ever. I walked past them and opened the door. The cold air hit my face, but it felt right. For the first time, I wasn't following their path. I was choosing my own. And even though it hurt, even though everything inside me felt broken, I kept walking, because staying would have destroyed me, and leaving was the only way to survive. I walked away with nothing but my name and pride. No money, no support, just silence. Is this really all you've got? The landlord asked, looking at my single bag. I nodded. It's enough, he shrugged. Rent's due on the 1st. I'll have it. I didn't know how, but I said it anyway. The apartment was small, bare walls, one bed, no comfort, but it was mine. That night, I sat on the floor and stared at my phone. No messages. I laughed quietly. Of course. The next morning, I called the only person I could think of. Mr. Reed, I said when he answered. It's Daniel, he replied. You don't work for your father anymore. I hesitated. I need a job. There was a pause. Come see me. His office was nothing like my father's company. Smaller, quieter, real. You look terrible, he said when I walked in. I feel worse. He leaned back. Good. That means you're awake. I frowned. That's your advice? That's reality, he said. So, what do you want? A chance. He studied me. Not sympathy? No. Not revenge? I shook my head. Not anymore. He nodded slowly. All right, you start tomorrow. Doing what? Everything no one else wants to. Do. I gave a small smile. Fair enough. The work was brutal. "Move those boxes," a coworker said. "Again?" I asked. "Unless you're too important." I grabbed them without another word. Hours passed. "Faster!" someone else called out. "I'm going as fast as I can," I replied. "Try harder." I didn't argue. That night I sat across from Daniel Reed. "You're quiet," he said. "I'm tired," he nodded. "Good. You're earning something real now." I looked at him. "It doesn't feel like much." "It's not supposed to," he said. "Not yet." Days turned into weeks. "Why are you still here?" a coworker asked. "One evening, because I need to be." "You don't look like you belong." I met his eyes. I didn't belong where I came from either. He didn't respond. Later, Daniel handed me a file. "Review this." I blinked. "You trust me with that?" "I trust your hunger," he said. I opened it, my hands steady. "I won't mess it up." "Don't promise," he replied. "Prove it." I worked late into the night. When I finished, I placed the file on his desk. He looked at it, then at me. "Better." "Better?" I asked. "That's all you get for now." I smiled slightly. "I'll take it." Weeks became months. "You're improving," he said one day. "I had a good teacher." He shook his head. "No, you had a hard fall." I looked down. "Yeah. But you didn't stay down," he added. I met his eyes. I couldn't afford to. One evening I sat alone in my apartment again, but this time it felt different. I picked up my phone, then put it back down. "No," I said to myself. "I don't need them." The silence didn't hurt anymore. It felt peaceful. The next morning, Daniel called me into his office. "I have an idea," he said. "What kind of idea?" "The kind that changes things." I leaned forward. "I'm listening." He smiled slightly. "Good, because this won't be easy." "When has it ever been?" I asked. He nodded. "Fair point." I took a deep breath. For the first time since I left, I felt something new. Not anger, not pain, purpose. And I realized something as I walked out of his office. I didn't lose everything. I lost what was never truly mine. Now, I was building something. That was. And this time, no one could take it away from me. Not my father. Not Ethan. Not anyone. Because this life, I earned it. "Sign here," Daniel said, sliding the paper toward me. I stared at it. "This is real?" He nodded. "Your company. Your name." I picked up the pen slowly. I didn't think I'd get here. "You didn't," he said. "You worked for it." I signed. "That's it?" I asked. "That's the beginning," he replied. "The first few months were chaos. We don't have enough capital," I said. "We'll make it work," Daniel replied. "How?" "By not failing." I laughed. "That's not a plan. It's the only one that matters." Then I met her. "You're late," she said the moment I walked into the meeting room. I frowned. "And you are?" "Emma Carter," she said. "The person who's about to fix your strategy." I raised an eyebrow. "Confident." "Accurate," she corrected. I sat down. "All right, impress me." She dropped a file in front of me. "Your growth model is weak." "Excuse me? You're playing safe," she said. "Safe doesn't win." Daniel smirked from the corner. "I like her." I looked at him. "You would." Emma leaned forward. "Do you want to compete or survive?" "Compete," I said. "Then stop thinking small." I studied her for a moment. "Join us." She didn't hesitate. "I was waiting for you to ask." From that day on, everything changed. "You're overthinking," Emma said one night. "I'm calculating risk. You're hesitating." I leaned back. "And you're reckless." She smiled. "That's why we work." Weeks turned into months. "We landed the deal," I said, walking into her office. She didn't look up. I know. You knew? I expected it. I shook my head. You're impossible. And you're predictable, she replied. Daniel walked in. Good. That means you're both consistent. We kept growing. Another client signed, I said. Emma nodded. Next. You don't celebrate, do you? Winning is expected, she said. I laughed. You sound like him. She glanced at me. Your father? I went quiet. She noticed. Too far? Not far enough, I said. Time passed faster than I realized. One evening, Daniel sat across from me. You've changed. Is that good? It's necessary. I nodded. I don't think about them anymore. Liar, he said calmly. I smirked. Maybe a little. Emma walked in, holding her tablet. You need to see this. What is it? I asked. Market data. I stood up. Okay. She turned the screen toward me. Look closer. I scanned it, then froze. No way. Daniel leaned in. What? I pointed at the chart. That company, that's your family's empire, Emma said. Silence filled the room. And this? I asked, pointing again. That's us, she replied. I looked between the two lines. We were Heir. We're competing with them? I asked. Not just competing, she said. We're beating them. I let out a slow breath. They don't even know. Emma crossed her arms. They will... Daniel smiled slightly. The question is, what will you do when they find out? I didn't answer right away. Instead, I kept staring at the screen. All those years, all that pain, and now this. Emma spoke again. Does it bother you? I shook my head slowly. No. Not even a little, she pressed. I met her eyes. It motivates me. Daniel nodded. Good answer. Emma smirked. Then let's push harder. I smiled for the first time in a while. Yeah. Let's. Later that night, I stood alone in my office, looking out the window. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. I turned it face down. I'm not ready, I said quietly. Emma's voice came from behind me. For what? I didn't turn around. For them. She stepped closer. Good. I glanced at her. Why? Because they're not ready for you either. I let out a quiet laugh, and for the first time I realized something important. I wasn't running anymore. I wasn't trying to prove myself. I already had. Now, I was building something bigger, something stronger. And when they finally saw it wouldn't be the son they replaced. It would be the man they underestimated. And this time, I wouldn't lose. Turn on the news, Emma said, walking into my office. I looked up. What happened? You'll want to see this. I grabbed the remote and turned the screen on. A massive financial miscalculation has shaken Heir Industries, the reporter said. I froze. Emma crossed her arms. That's your family. I leaned forward. What did they do? They approved a deal that collapsed overnight, she replied. Losses in the millions. I stared at the screen. Who signed it? Emma looked at me carefully. Ethan. Silence filled the room. Daniel walked in. So, it finally happened. I didn't move. He failed. For the first time, Daniel said. The reporter continued. Investors are already pulling out. Emma muted the TV. This is bad. I let out a slow breath. This is what pressure does. Daniel nodded. Your father pushed him too far. I leaned back in my chair. Or maybe he was never ready. Emma raised an eyebrow. Sounds familiar. I glanced at her. Yeah. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. It buzzed again. Emma noticed. You're not answering? No? Why? Because I know who it is. Daniel crossed his arms. And? I'm not ready, I said. The phone buzzed again. I flipped it over. Persistent, Emma said. Desperate, Daniel corrected. Hours passed. When I finally checked, I saw multiple missed calls and one message. Please call me. It's important. Sophie, I stared at it. Emma watched me. You going to respond? No. She's your sister. I shook my head. She made her choice. Daniel spoke quietly. And now she's dealing with it. I didn't reply. The next morning, my assistant knocked. There's someone here to see you. Who? She didn't give a name. Emma looked at me. That's never good. I stood up. Send her in. The door opened and everything went still. Daniel, my mother said softly. I didn't move. Emma stepped back slightly. My mother looked different, tired, smaller. What are you doing here? I asked. Her hands trembled. I needed to see you. You could have called. I did, she whispered. I nodded. I know. Silence stretched between us. Emma spoke first. I'll give you two a minute. No, I said. Stay. My mother glanced at her, then back at me. You've built something impressive. I didn't respond. She took a step forward. We need your help. There it was. I crossed my arms. Do you? Her voice shook. The company is collapsing. And? Ethan made a mistake. I heard. She swallowed. Your father can't fix it alone. I tilted my head. That sounds like his problem. Daniel, please? No. I cut her off. She froze. I looked at her. Really looked this time. The same woman who once doubted me. The same voice that called me weak, now asking for help, and I felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, just emptiness. You didn't trust me, I said quietly. Her eyes filled with tears. I was wrong. I shook my head. That doesn't change anything. We need you, she repeated. I let out a slow breath. Where was that need before? She didn't answer. I stepped closer. Where was it when you chose him? I thought it was the right decision, she whispered. And now? She looked down. I don't know anymore. Emma spoke softly from behind me. That's the problem, isn't it? My mother didn't respond. I turned back to her. You made your choice. And you're making yours now? She asked. Yes. Her voice broke. You're going to let everything fall apart? I met her eyes. You already did that. Silence filled the room. She wiped her tears. Your father will come, I figured. And what will you say to him? I paused. Then I answered. The same thing. She nodded slowly, like she expected it. I didn't come here to fight, she said. Then why did you come? She looked at me one last time, to ask for my son back. That hit something deep, but not enough. I shook my head. You lost him. Her face crumbled, and for a moment I almost felt something. Almost, but it faded just as quickly. She turned and walked toward the door. Daniel, she said without looking back. I didn't respond. The door closed. Emma exhaled. How do you feel? I stared at the empty space she left behind. Nothing. Daniel nodded slowly. That's worse than anger. I sat down, and for the first time I understood something clearly. This wasn't victory. This wasn't revenge. It was just the end of something that had already been broken long ago, and there was no fixing it now. The knock on my office door was firm. Come in, I said without looking up. The door opened slowly. My father stepped inside. Daniel, he said, voice tight. I finally looked up. His usual confidence was gone. Desperation lingered in his eyes. Sit down, I said calmly. He shook his head. I'm not here to sit. Then why are you here? I asked. He hesitated. I need your help. I leaned back in my chair. My help? Yes, he said. The company, Ethan, everything. You can fix it. I raised an eyebrow. You mean I can clean up your mess? He swallowed. Yes. I didn't answer immediately. I studied him. The man who once controlled everything now looked like he had nothing. You want your position back? I said slowly. He nodded. I do. You've built something impressive. But I need you at Heir Industries. Fix this, Daniel. Please. I shook my head, leaning forward. No. His eyes widened. No? I'm not going back, I said. Not to clean up your failures. Not to play the role you refuse to trust me with. But, calm down, Father, I interrupted. I've spent years building my own path. I don't need your empire to define me. He stepped closer, voice almost pleading. You're my son. You belong? Belong? I cut him off sharply. You replaced me. You ignored me. You chose him over your own child. He flinched, but said nothing. Not anymore, I continued. Now, I'm the one in control, and I don't need you to make me powerful. He took a deep breath. I see. I nodded once. Then leave me to my work. He lingered for a moment, then turned and walked out silently. Later that evening, Ethan approached me alone in the office. Daniel, he said quietly. I looked up from my desk. Ethan, he hesitated. Can we talk? I motioned for him to sit. He began. I wasn't supposed to replace you. I frowned. What do you mean? I was just trying to survive, he admitted. Their expectations. I did what I had to do. I thought if I followed their rules, I'd be safe. I leaned back. So, we were both victims in a way? He nodded slowly. Different ways. Same cage. I studied him for a long moment. I spent years hating you. I know, he said quietly. I don't blame you. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Because it's the truth, he said. And maybe it's time we move forward. I let out a slow breath. I won't forget what happened. You don't have to, he replied. Just let's stop letting them control our lives. I nodded slowly. All right, that I can do. Silence hung between us for a moment. Then he said, You've changed, Daniel. Stronger than I expected. I smirked slightly. I didn't have a choice. He smiled faintly. Good. Then maybe we can build something real. Together. I leaned forward. Not for them, not for revenge, just for us. For what we choose to create. He nodded. For the first time in years, I felt something shift. I wasn't the boy they replaced. I wasn't their pawn. I was the one holding the pieces now. And this time, I decided the rules. No one else. Not my father. Not Ethan. Not anyone. I had the power, and for the first time, I knew exactly what to do with it. The news came first. Heir Industries just reported another massive loss, Daniel said, handing me a tablet. I glanced at the numbers. That's their fourth this month. Emma raised an eyebrow. They're collapsing fast. I shrugged. Some things can't be saved once they're broken. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. It buzzed again. I hesitated, then answered. Hello? Daniel. Sophie's voice broke through. I froze. Sophie? I made a mistake, she sobbed. I shouldn't have. I was wrong to pick sides. I stayed silent. I didn't realize. I thought. She sniffled. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have listened to them over you. I took a deep breath. It's too late. Sophie! No, please, she pleaded. I can't lose my brother. I shouldn't have ever. I cut her off. You did, and now we're both living with it. I know, she whispered. But I don't, I said. Just stay safe. That's all I ask. The line went silent. Later, another message arrived, from my mother. I didn't open it immediately. Finally, curiosity won. It was a letter. Her handwriting shaky, unfamiliar. Daniel, it read. I was wrong. I let fear guide me. I thought protecting the company mattered more than protecting you. I never told you I loved you because I was afraid. I see now how cruel I was. I am sorry. I set the letter down, slowly, carefully. Daniel looked over my shoulder. She finally admitted it. Too late, I said softly. That won't change anything. Emma put a hand on my shoulder. Does it hurt? I shook my head. It's not hurt anymore, just empty. Regret doesn't rebuild bridges that were burned long ago. Still, Daniel said quietly, it shows they realized their mistakes. Yes, I admitted, but realization is meaningless when the damage is done. I stared out the window. The city lights blurred through my eyes. I've built a life without them, I said. A life where their approval doesn't matter. Emma nodded. And that's worth more than their apology. I let out a slow breath. I thought one day I might crave their recognition. I thought I might need it, but I don't. Not anymore. Good, Daniel said. Because you don't need anyone to validate your strength. I remember every moment they doubted me, I continued. Every decision they made to replace me. Every word that told me I wasn't enough. And now? Emma asked softly. Now, I said. I have proof that I was enough all along. They just refused to see it. Their regret doesn't give them power over me anymore. Daniel nodded. They lost the chance. Yes, I said. And so did I, losing them. But I gained something stronger. My own path, my own life. Silence filled the room. Finally, I stood. Let them regret. I won't. That's their burden, not mine. Emma smiled. You've come far, Daniel. I nodded slowly. Far enough to know that some things can't be fixed, and that's okay. I'm free now. And for the first time in years, it felt complete. I had lost a family, but I had found myself, and that mattered more than anything they could ever regret. The call came early. Daniel. My mother's voice trembled. Please, we need your help. I let the phone ring for a moment. Finally, I said, I'm listening. We've made mistakes, she continued. Ethan, the company, everything is falling apart. Your father, he can't handle it alone. I stayed quiet. You don't understand, she pleaded. We've realized how wrong we were. I exhaled slowly. I do understand. More than you know. Please, she said. Just for one last time, come back. Help us fix this. I leaned back in my chair. Mom, do you really think one apology makes up for years of betrayal? Her voice broke. I'm sorry. Truly. We need you. I closed my eyes. Memories flashed. The study that day. Ethan in my chair, my father's cold words, the nights I packed my bags, the years of building something of my own. Mom, I can't, I said finally. There was a pause. Daniel, please, I'm begging. No, I replied. And I've thought about it. Every moment, every mistake, every time I was pushed aside. Silence stretched over the line. You're not angry? She asked softly. I shook my head. I'm not angry, not anymore. I'm clear about what I need, about who I am. But you could help us, she whispered. Yes, I could, I admitted. But helping you now won't undo the past. It won't change the choices you made. There was a quiet sob on the other end. I understand. I hope you do, I said. Because I've chosen myself. Not out of hate, not out of revenge, out of clarity. I can't go back. Daniel, please. I can't, I repeated firmly. She was silent for a long moment. Then quietly, I see. I truly see now. I hope you do, I said. And I hope someday you forgive yourselves for what was lost. No, don't speak, I said. Just remember this. I've built a life that belongs to me, not to you, not to Ethan, not to anyone else. Her voice trembled. You're strong, Daniel, stronger than we ever understood. I smiled faintly. It's not strength I needed, just clarity. There was a pause. Then she whispered, "Goodbye, Daniel." "Goodbye," I said softly. I hung up and set the phone down. Emma looked at me from across the room. "Are you sure?" "I am," I said. "I've thought about this for years. I've lived it, fought for it, and now I've decided. My life doesn't belong to anyone else." Daniel Reed nodded quietly. "Then you made the right choice." I stood at the window, looking out at the city lights. Everything I had built, the company, my independence, my freedom, it was mine. I whispered to myself, I finally chose me. No guilt, no regret, just clarity. And for the first time, I felt completely free. The past had shaped me, but it no longer controlled me. I had survived betrayal. I had overcome doubt. And now, at last, I was truly my own. I turned away from the window. The life I had fought for was waiting, and no one, not my family, not my past, not even their regrets, could take it from me. I had chosen myself, and that was enough. "Another client signed," Emma said, sliding a report across my desk. I smiled faintly. "Good, keep it coming." She raised an eyebrow. "You sound calm." "I am," I replied. "Finally." Daniel leaned back in his chair. "You've come a long way, Daniel," I chuckled. "Funny, I feel like I'm just starting." Emma looked at me. "You've changed so much. Stronger, sharper, different." "I had to," I said. "There was no other choice." "Do you ever think about them?" she asked quietly. I paused. "Sometimes. But not to dwell. I think about what I've built, about what I've chosen." Daniel nodded. "And that choice? It's mine," I said firmly. "Not theirs, not anyone else's." Emma smiled. "Good answer." I leaned back, letting the weight of years fade. You know, for a long time I wanted their approval. My father's praise, my mother's respect, even Ethan, I wanted them to see me as I was. "And now?" Daniel asked. "Now," I said, "I don't need any of it. I chose my own path, my own life." Emma crossed her arms. "That's powerful. I've built a company that belongs to me," I continued, "with people who believe in me, not because of my name, but because of who I am. That's freedom." Daniel smiled. "And you earned it." I glanced out the window at the city lights. "I lost a family," I admitted softly. "They lost an empire. But I found myself." Emma stepped closer. "And the man you've become?" I let out a slow breath. "He doesn't need anyone's approval, not theirs, not the world's. He's enough." Daniel leaned forward. "The boy they replaced?" I shook my head. "Gone. He's gone. All that pain, all that betrayal. It shaped me, yes. But it doesn't define me anymore." Emma smiled, a hint of pride in her eyes. "And you're at peace?" I nodded slowly. "For the first time, truly." Daniel leaned back, eyes glinting. It suits you. This calm, this control, this clarity. I laughed softly. It's not control, it's understanding. I understand myself now, and that's stronger than anything they could ever take away. Emma looked at me warmly. So, what's next? I turned to her. The same as always, build, grow, lead, but this time, for me, not anyone else. Daniel smiled. And that's worth more than an empire. I nodded. Exactly. I let the silence fill the room, letting it settle around us. For the first time, I wasn't chasing approval, revenge, or validation. I was living my own life. The boy they replaced is gone. The man I became? He doesn't need their approval anymore, and that feels perfect.